Okay, good morning, guys. Hope everyone is well. It is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Hope everybody's had a good start to, well, it's early for you guys. I think most of you guys are in the US, but it's afternoon. It's around about 2:30. So hope everybody is well. It's the 14th, as I've just said, 14th February 2023. I'm looking at the 2000 tick chart, the S&P 500 futures market. We've just had some CPI data, which well, I think what it was is it started off well. I was listening to little bits of it on someone's stream, and I think there was mention then, initially was mentioned about interest rates starting to fall throughout the year, but they may adjust interest rates accordingly. So we had this drop initially, then a good strong push up, then a drop again, then a push up. We more or less finished where we started. So I think it was just a little bit unsettled, but things seem to be well, I mean, we had a push up initially, now we seem to be moving down, but we ended up where we had this little push up and down. We ended up finishing more or less at the same place. So where are we? Okay, so we got in this morning. Speedy boy, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're well. Jim, how you doing, Jim? What? Hello, what? Sam, how you doing? See, it's tricky, isn't it? Because a lot of you guys, I know Wood's a couple of hours ahead of me, right down South Africa, but I think most of you guys are at least 5 hours behind me. So I'm saying good morning to some and good afternoon to others. But I hope everyone's well. So I've got myself a nice mug of Yorkshire tea. Finally got my tooth fixed, so I'm pain-free. This is the first hot drink I've had for 3 days. Well, I've had a warm drink, which I've had to suck through a straw. But I've had a root canal this morning, so finally pain-free. There's nothing worse than toothache, and there's nothing nicer that when you go to the dentist and they inject that painkiller into it, and all of a sudden your pain goes. So, yeah, a bit of an unsteady-looking market at the moment. Bars all up and down, but the news is done. I don't know whether he's still talking, is he not? But things certainly over the space of around, it started about here, which is, I don't know, about 25 past 1 UK time, and finished about 1:50, so a little bit of a flash push up and down, but we seem to be working down now. So but it's been quite positive for the last couple of days. We've had, a relatively nice glide up there, and we had a great day yesterday. Some nice trades around yesterday. It's not often we get a nice day like this, and there was certainly a few really nice trades around. So it was still a bit of a push and a bit of sideways and a push and sideways. But if you can time it right just before it pushes, or get in just after it pushes, there were some nice offerings around. So I had quite a good day yesterday. I did come back and did another trade, so I ended up a fraction over $1,000 up yesterday. So all good. So I had some affiliate link, guys. Some of you guys used my code yesterday, so that is much appreciated. It runs out, I think, midnight US time. I think most of it's US time tonight, so it's the last day this is available. But I dare say within a month they'll probably have another one. They tend to have them monthly now. We don't seem to go longer than a month, but it is there if you want to use it. If you want to get yourself one, well, it's 80% off. My evaluation's there, my code's there, sorry, and it runs out today. So there it is. So we seem to be, I'm just wondering, see, the news seemed to be that we, from what I could gather, that they would slowly be slowing down interest rates or reducing interest rates throughout the year. But then he did mention that they may increase them at times, obviously depending on how things go. So it was sort of relatively a bit of positive news followed by, well, don't forget this could happen. So, and I think that's why we seem to be pushing down. I'm just wondering how far this will go down, because it's so far. It's come down 50 points, but it's going to be typical. We needed to come back here really to give us something. It did. I think this was sort of confirmed, but there wasn't nothing obvious. There was that one, but it's a bit congested. You may have, there was a failure there, or you may have waited and took that one, but it seems to have gone down. There is yesterday's lows down here, so I am aware of that. Whether we'll come down that lower, or indeed whether we'll come past it, but the way that's coming down, who knows? So let's keep an eye on this. The frustrating thing is, a lot of the times when it does come down this strong, it never quite gets back to the EMA. So any chance you've got just doesn't materialise because it doesn't get past. Sorry, it doesn't get back to that EMA. So we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see how things go. Hey Scruffy, how you doing, my friend? Sorry, I didn't see you there. People are quiet today. There's 30 coming up, 40 watching, and there's we've heard from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you. Everyone's quiet today. I'm just wondering if there's less people trading at the moment. Excuse me, because of the news. But the worst of it's over. Well, I say the worst of it. The quicker movements we tend to want to stay out of, but it's steadily coming down. So if we can get back here and get an offer in, it might have to be a slightly risky one. Otherwise, I don't think we're gonna get a move. Otherwise, let's see what we can get. Try not to be too risky. Maybe a possible triple test here. That's a new high. Do you want to go on? See what happens. Let's keep an eye on this, because if there is an opportunity to come further down, I want to try and get a bit of a part of it. Okay. Okay, that is the first break I think that I can see. Touches there, touches here, finishes nice there. Sorry, closes lovely here. I think I'd rather take a lower high here. I'd like to think we're coming down to test this, but I'd rather just want to be careful there. I think taking that one's slightly risky. It depends what happens. It may come tanking down, but I'd rather wait for a little bit more confirmation. Let's see if we can push above that. Yes, if you'd have taken that one, you'd have got stopped out. It was tempting, wasn't it? But it is above the EMA. It's hard to say at the moment. Let's see if we can see sort of two legs. I'm trying to calm myself down and not jump in a little bit and have a little bit of a think. Okay, so we've had a break and we've had a couple of pushes up and a new high. I'd rather wait for a lower high really to ride this down. As tempting as it is looking, you just got to be so careful because it could go sideways. I might jump in down here going short and it might come up and stop me out. So let's see if we can break above this. If we can break above that green candle, then I'll think about coming down. See what I mean? It may be going a bit sideways. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's so easy to get caught out here. Let's try and keep my breathing. It's going to be a failure, I think, if we're going to get in this. Let's get that down a little bit. Yeah, that's what I suspected was happening. Now, whether there's sort of a leg up there. We may get another leg up here. Hard to say, isn't it? Tends to do that a lot. We go from here, I think, maybe. Well, I think you're supposed to do it from there, really, but doesn't really start from here, really, does it? Okay, let's see what happens here. Okay, so we've had effectively 2 pushes up after a break from here, so I like to think we're coming down now, but okay, first entry. It's going to be a failure to get into this trade if we're going to. That's it, come on down. I think it's likely we're going to come lower and break this low. There's no guarantees, but I think it's fair to say it's quite likely going to do it. Okay, so there's a first entry. If we can get a fairly going low, maybe from this one. If this ends up bullish, that might attract some longs. And then if we can get a trigger it and come down, then I'll go short there. Not that good. It's a bit of a doji. Okay. It's going to be a failure, but... It's a bit volatile at the moment. Okay, try to go on, try to twice. This is a possible failure, but it's just too congested for me to get in here. Bars are quite big at the moment. ATR's quite, well, it's high-ish. Okay, we got a new low here. Try to go low on, try to go twice. That's a failure that's triggered. Just wondering whether to go long below this. No. It's going to be a big bar, I think. That. Yeah, I think it's likely if it triggers below here, it's probably going to come down. But I'm just going to sit and watch and wait. I think. Yeah. There's going to be a bunch of traps here. Let's just check this. Okay, there's sort of 2 legs up there. Yeah, see, we could do something like this and then end up having something bigger. If we do get a push down, it may end up doing something like this, but it's early days yet. Okay. Jason Burning. Have I come across you before? I'm not sure I have, haven't I? How you doing? Where you from, bud? Where you from? You don't ring any bells. I'd like to know where people are from. Just like to think it's warmer than mine. It's lovely out here at the moment. It's only 10 degrees. 10 degrees C, but it's beautiful sunshine. It's just got that little hint of spring on its way. Whether it will continue. Mind you, we did have a frost this morning, so it has been pretty cold out there. Okay, this looks like it's just about to touch this 2 legs. It's sort of 2 legs up with a little bit of a... See what happens. Wow. Doesn't look like adding any intention of coming down. See how this finishes. No. Okay. It's possible. Perhaps we've had a... Let me just get rid of that.
Order cancelled.
Perhaps we have had a break, or perhaps we haven't had one. Let me have a look. It all fits quite nice. Who knows? It is quite choppy, isn't it? You just don't know. Maybe a range and a bit of a break out the range, but that all fits quite nice in there. Let's move this over. We got the bottom here, so maybe it'll bounce here. Or maybe it'll just keep going up. That's the trouble when we sort of have news like this. It can make it a little bit volatile and bounces around and doesn't operate properly. We just move this out of the way. Get a bit clearer. Okay, let's change this colour. That seems to fit there quite nice. See what happens here. Howdy from Texas. That sounds warm. Rin. Nice name, Rin. How you doing? Texas. I'm guessing Texas is warm now, isn't it? It's got to be warmer than the UK. Texas. I don't know if we have anybody from Texas, have we? I don't know. Oh, Michigan, US. It's all right. Jason Burning. It just sort of seemed like a UK name for some reasons. I don't know. Maybe it isn't. Well, it isn't. It clearly isn't. Yes, excellent. Excellent. I've got to say, people say in the UK we're lucky with the weather, and then sometimes you look out in the winter and you're freezing your knackers off and it's pissing down, and I'm thinking, why are we lucky? But we do get a very good balance of weather. I suppose if you live in a warm climate all the time, sometimes it can be a bit harsh, can't it? I like the fact that, after a hot summer, we get some nice cool weather, and it's sort of, we get a nice balance. And we had 42 degrees C this year, which was the hottest we've had ever. I think that's pretty hot wherever you are in the world. So we tend to have a nice balance. RGE, good morning. How you doing? Quite quiet, you guys, today. I expect you enthralled in all the excitement, are you? So we seem to be working up there in a channel. I think it's fair to say that's a channel. Touching along here, nice. Touching along here, nice. Touching along here, nice. Let's bring that down a tiny touch. Tops fit quite nice. We've got the bottom of this. Let's make that a little darker. Maybe darker still. That's a bit better. Okay, so there's the open line. I got yesterday's lows here. I thought we might make a dash for it, but maybe not. Okay, so we've had this push down. Maybe we've had, I don't know, maybe this was something like this. And then we had a bit of a break. Maybe it is. It just fits kind of nice there, doesn't it? So let's leave it there for now. It doesn't really matter at the moment anyway, I think. It's really nice there. Tops, bottoms. Or maybe this is just a pullback and we're going to come down. It's hard to say at the moment. It's a bit too early. Brant. Liquidity might still be low. I did a market order on a sim just to check my 3-point stop. Hit immediately with a PA. Yeah. How you doing, Brant? Grandpa Roger, how you doing, mate? Lead and loser, how you doing? Okay, so Ahmed, how you doing? We have 2 measured moves down. Is that what you said? 2 measured. Read that again. We have 2 measured move down. Fade the range. Are you counting from here? I think that was more than a measured move, wasn't it? Well, I tend to not count that because, oh yeah, there you go. No arguments there. Okay, so 2 measured moves down. Yeah. Didn't count that because I tended to ignore what was in there because it was smashing around so much. That's certainly right. So we're back into this channel now. We're back into this range. Let's still leave that there. I don't think it matters, does it now? So we've got the open here. See what happens here, but it's just a bit messy at the moment, isn't it? It went right to the measured move, certainly did. I didn't put one in just that, just looked a lot longer. Obviously, it's going a little bit more sideways. That's a little bit sharper, isn't it? I'm just going to get rid of this for a minute, I think. Just a bit more space. I do want to get one of these wider screens so I can stretch it out. I usually have this blown out on a screen, another screen, but I punched one of them in temper a few months ago, so I'm down to 3. So I've got no space. Hey Sam, how you doing, mate? How are you doing? Are you working, are you? I suppose you are, aren't you? It's a good day yesterday. I enjoyed trading yesterday. Made a change to have a nice steady uptrend with some good entries. Even if you can get a couple of decent entries in a trend, you've done your job, haven't you? It made a change yesterday. It felt quite a relaxing day to a degree. I was a bit flustered. I'd been rushing around. I usually do a few calming, breathing sort of exercises at work here. But yesterday I sort of got a bit caught off guard. Not getting much time to stream this week yet. Yeah. That's the trouble, really. I'm sort of lucky in a way. I can work weekends and earn good money. So I can work 2 long days and give myself the equivalent of 4 days. So I'm quite lucky there. But I suppose the beauty about living in the UK is if you finish in normal time, you can still get a couple of hours of trading. So, whereas I suppose if you're US based, 9 o'clock, well, the market open at 9:30. Most people are in work that time. See, so the market hours are normal working hours for most of you. So it can be a bit hard. Got your PA yet? Friday, mate. Monday, sorry. Monday. One of them's done. This one is a couple of days behind, I think. So if I can get 2 on the go and try and a little bit calmer this time. Trouble is, you get a PA account, you manage to build it, you take some money, you think you're done, don't you? You think that's it, I'm sorted. And then you have a tough day and it messes with your head a little bit. The trouble is, because I'd managed to get that account up to about 7,500, I thought, that's it, sorted. I've made it, finally. And then I just didn't think about implementing the rules, and there lies the problem. I ended up taking a loss quickly. Out of frustration, I took another loss, and what I should have done is walked away then with a maximum of, say, $700 losses, but I just carried on. And I ended up losing about $2,400 in one day, and that obviously mashed my mind completely. And then I ended up taking a similar loss the day after, and I think I was doomed then. So this is the second shot at it. I have failed a bunch of PAs before, but that was the first one I'd felt like I had some sort of control. Sim just took a 600. Dollar loss on one contract for 3 points. Weird. Doesn't make me wanna. You're having issues. When I approach my withdrawal target, last trade to meet the target, starts making stupid decisions. Yeah, you're not on your own there, mate. I think a lot of people struggle with that. That was okay, actually, for some reason. I don't know why. It just felt... or maybe I was. I can't remember, actually, to be fair. I know what you're saying, though. I know what you're saying. I don't tend to have the fear. I tend to have the opposite. I tend to get a bit too confident, and I think that's just as dangerous as in fact, it's probably more dangerous. I think it was the start of that bad day. I was up about 7,500, 7,600. They'd taken the 2,000 out of my account, so I had 5,000 in it, and I came in the market, and it seemed a bit of a range, and I just took a top, just confidently after a couple of minutes, and it failed. And I took one further up, thinking, okay, I'll take it higher, and I failed again. And it just seemed to spiral from there. The most I'd lost in a day previously to that was about $300, $350, and all of a sudden $350 seems like nothing compared to that loss. That's the only saving grace. If I ever have two losses, or when I have two losses and I lose a maximum of $700, it's not going to seem nowhere near as bad as a $2,400 loss. So hopefully, is that the same issue? Yeah. It's that scared to pull the trigger, isn't it? But what I will say is when you see those great trades, they jump out at you, even if you wait till you see those and then just jump. So there's a couple of legs back there, 2 legs. The thing is, we're going a bit sideways here. I'm not convinced we're going higher. But yeah, I know what you're saying. You're not on your own there. Everyone feels it. Not had a withdrawal since October. Oh, have you not? Pretty much. It's not that far away, actually. Yeah, I've just had the one. I think I had mine in, was it early January, I think? Yeah, I think it was 15th of January, I think. Yeah, 15th of January, maybe a day before. But funnily enough, I lost my mum on the evening of the 28th, and I had 3 losses, 29th, 30th, 31st. So whether that had anything to do with my sort of mental well-being or not, I don't know. But it was weird how it happened 3 times, so I can probably blame my mum for that. But I don't know whether it was that part. Maybe partly my mind was on the game or something, I don't know. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just my time. I'd had such a good run up. I'd had 18 days in a row where I'd made good money. 18 green days. And I thought, wow, I've cracked it. Just goes to show you can never drop your guard. Just because you started making money doesn't mean the market necessarily gets easier to trade. It doesn't mean you can trade riskier setups because you're making money. If anything, you need to be more on the ball, because if you're finally making money, you've got money to lose. So you need to be more strict. There was 2 legs down there to here, but the trouble is it's a bit sideways, and I don't know whether we're going up or down at the moment. It's not very clear. We're sort of in the middle of nowhere at the moment. Oh god, yeah, scare how fast it spirals. Yeah, once it gets, I think in what I should have done was had a few days off, because if you're coming back to your screen and you've still got that, that sort of bitter feeling, that bitter frustration, I think it's dangerous to start trading like that. What I should have done is just had a break until I felt like I was ready to trade. I'm just going to remove that a minute. I'm not sure whether that is or not. I kind of like it because it's running along the bottom side of the midline and then above it. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. We'll see. So we've just pushed through the open. I feel like I'm getting better. I feel like I'm slowly getting. It's getting that self-control. Does it look like a two? Yeah, it does. I feel like I'm finally getting some a little bit more. Well, I don't know, self-control sometimes. I mean, what I found helps is to listen to a little bit of music or calm yourself, or some breathing exercises before you trade. If you can get yourself in a nice calm mood and try and keep that way. And watch and focus. I think it's important to get yourself into the right frame of mind to trade. Yesterday my daughter went in late this morning, yesterday, so I was rushing around and I was flapping when I traded yesterday, and I jumped into a couple of trades a little bit too quick. Fortunately, they weren't too bad, and I was okay. But if you are a little bit flustered or a bit panicked, it can affect. Well, lots of things can affect your mood. And I nearly had a hiccup yesterday. So fortunately, because it was a good day, and they say your trend's a friend, the trend was going up. I managed to scrape out of a little bit of a situation. Mental states, absolutely. It's quite hard to fathom how important it is, and I think that's why you have to go through that process, because you have to have it drummed into you and drummed into you and drummed into you before you finally get it. Because most of us, the trouble obviously is with trading, unlike a lot of businesses, is you've got to go out and try and earn your money, and you could lose money. Whereas, the majority of jobs nowadays, you go to work Monday, Friday, you get your wages on a Friday or at the end of the month. You haven't got to worry about it. Whereas this, but I did feel an extra layer of stress when I was trading a peer account. That surprised me. I thought when I built that account up, the stress would go. But I did feel a little bit tense at the end of 3 hours of trading. But then she stresses me out. I think it's important to get out and get some fresh air, isn't it? I think if you're going to trade for a living, and we all want to do, don't we? I think it's important to manage your stress levels and do something that helps you relax. Whatever it is, I think it's important, because, when I got into trading and I was, I had people telling me just do 2 to 3 hours. I'm thinking, hey, I'm used to 8 hours work. What do you mean 2 to 3 hours? But when you actually do it and there's money involved, you can feel the tension it has on you. So I think it's important to, figure out how to wind down. That's definitely important. There is a little bit of a congestion around here somewhere, just a little bit there, maybe a couple of bounces off that, and a couple of sits on it, and then bounces up to it, bit of support and resistance in there. So but yeah, I definitely felt an extra layer. Wife more stressful than trading. I'm quite lucky, actually. I've got a good wife and a supportive wife. I've tried lots of things over the years, I have, and my wife's always been, oh God, what are you doing now? But she's been quite different with this. She's been quite supportive, because we all have low days, days where we feel low and things are going wrong, and wives can sense it. They have that power, don't they? So I'm quite lucky there. I got quite a patient wife. She's pretty self-sufficient. She doesn't require a lot, really. She's a bit of a cleaning freak, so she's happy me being out of the way and her getting on with things. So it kind of works in a strange level. She's pretty good. Yeah. We all moan about our partners, don't we? But we're with them for a reason, aren't we? Yeah, we all have this little banter. Me and my wife wind each other up. Probably more me winding her up, actually, but I'm a bit of a practical joker. I don't take a lot seriously, and I'm always hiding in closets making a jump and childish stuff like that. Too many serious people out there for me. Okay, so it does look like we've got this two-tier channel. We've had a break above it, so I don't know whether it'll. I don't know, the trouble is, you can keep adjusting these things forever and a day, can't you? It's so hard to say, isn't it? Just oh, I thought okay. Let's just drag this down a minute. It's hard to say, isn't it? It's only really touched twice, isn't it? Let's leave it like that just at the moment. Does look like it's probably going to be a bit steeper, but I think it's going to be just sitting and watching for a while because there's. Let's just move that up a minute. Prices tend to hold around there apart from this spike. See what happens. At least we recovered anyway. DT's increased by 2.8%. Or Bitcoin's moving quite solidly. I've got some money in Bitcoin. Spot. Yeah, I tend to follow the cryptos as well. I have bits of money in there, and we've Bitcoin's starting to move quite positively. I have a little bit of money in Bitcoin, a little bit in Ethereum. Saitama, I like the look of. I don't know if anybody follows it, but I went through when that thing first came out. I just liked the story behind it, and I liked what was there. But I did buy some a couple of months ago, and it's gone up by about 160% in the last 2.5 months. So there is rumours this may be the slow start build up of a bull run. It's just hard to say, but things do seem to be holding nicely. So fingers crossed, eh? But at least we're getting some slow positiveness from the Fed that they're going to try and rein in interest rates a bit. I certainly feel like we've hit the bottom and we're moving up now anyway, so that's positive. I want to know when my tomato sauce is going to come down from £4 a bottle, because that is extortion. I just can't eat the cheap stuff. Too vinegary for me. I think I'd rather leave that out of the way at the minute. Just focus on the small stuff. I just feel a bit blind when I do that. Okay, well, up until that news, this was the sort of high of the day, or the overnight highs before it tanked. So we had that push up, push down, and then we came back up again and bounced off around about the same place. So I don't know whether that is bigger somehow. That might be a bit better. Okay, yeah, let's go for that. I think that looks a little better. There we go. just remove that. That certainly fits better. Touch there, touch there, touch there. Touch, 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 touch. That fits quite nice. Let's move this over. Let's change that to a pretty pink. Tomato. There we go. Oh, I don't like that. Let's get some purple in it or something. Teal. There we go. Yeah. What I might do, just for now, is bring that down to about there. Let me make this a bit darker. For some reason, it's not standing out very well. Let's see if that's too much. Maybe. Let's take the colour down a little bit, I think. Yeah, okay. Okay, it does seem to be. Okay, so yeah, we had this market open, we had a little push down, then we worked our way up here, and obviously we know what happened here, didn't we? Market tanked, had a good strong push up, came back down, and then sort of recovered to where it more or less where it finished, and then we had a move down. So whether this is, I'd probably say it is somewhere there, because we had this bounce off here and it hit here a few times before it maybe broke out. So see what happens here. But this looks to me like it's a nice fitting channel. If anything, it's moved over to this side of it, so I wouldn't class it as a break. I wouldn't say we'd had a break or anything. Let me just show the midline. It's fitting quite nice on the top there. So let's zoom in. So okay, so we know this is the highs, don't we? So apart from the big spike, let's just put something in there so I don't forget it. Just so I don't forget that's there. Let's zoom in here. See what's going on. I kind of like the way that fits. Fits nice at the top. Fits pretty good at the bottom. Okay. Christ, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Pros Camera. Is that anywhere close? Good morning. How you doing, mate? How you doing, Jim? I think I'll sit back and let this sort itself out. Yeah, it's hard to say what's going on, really, isn't it? Yeah. Let's zoom in here. Okay, so we know where the highs, apart from obviously that's where it's spiked out. So let's just have a wee look. Second entry long, that is. Second entry long, but do you really want to be going long here? Yes is the answer. Anybody take that? I just thought that was a bit risky there. The bond is closed below it, but somebody thought it was a good idea. That's just shot up there about 246 points. There you go. Second entry long, right off the midline, and it's fitting nice along that midline there, isn't it? Bum bum bum. A little bit congested, a little bit sideways, and I just didn't want to go long into that. I didn't think it was the most sensible of choices. But somebody did. Yeah, that channel seems okay to me. It's bounced right up there, and we're coming back to retest this, so maybe an option off here. So I know things like Bitcoin and that's looking nice and positive now. So maybe this, maybe we might get a decent push up. Certainly up to here, maybe. I kind of like the way it's broken above there and come back and retest it. So let's just keep an eye out here, see if we can get something. See if it's going to come down a bit. Trouble is, it seems quite strong at the moment. It may just push straight up. Kind of like the way it is retesting this, and I like the way it's sitting nicely on that midline still. It's fitted lovely up there. On a new low here, really, and a setup. Let's get an order ready just in case something
Order
does come
submitted.
up. And then it's going to give us a setup.
Order cancelled.
Ideally, if we can get 2 pushes down and bounce off here, I'm going to remove this measured move because we know it's the top there. I prefer it to come down here, really, before I think about going along.
Order submitted.
What to do? Wow.
Order cancelled.
Well, nothing there. Didn't give us a chance, did it? I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break just for a minute. We've missed anything there anyway, so bear with me. Okay. Rather it break out the bottom here and sit around here, I'd consider taking it into there than I'm expecting. See, there we go. Let's see if we can get
Order
something here.
submitted.
I was hoping it was going to bounce off there and play out the measured move. In fact,
Order
I don't know
cancelled.
whether if this is going to push out because it may move quick.
Order submitted.
End up bullish. Sit on top of that range. Come on. Okay, that, if that ends up bearish and triggers, that's a failure.
Order cancelled.
I kind of hoping it finishes bearish and triggers. Go on, finish bearish. Let's see if that triggers.
Order submitted.
It's not the most bearish of candles, but it might be slightly worse on someone else's chart. But let's just see if that does break down here. I think it's likely. We're going to pull back into here. I like the way that's fitted there. Yeah, I think we knew it was going to happen, didn't we? But the trouble is with that, you just don't know whether it's going to bounce off the underside and then push back in. So that is still a failure. So let's see if that triggers.
Order cancelled.
I'm not convinced that's even a breakout. I'll probably adjust that ever so slightly. It's not out enough. Neither of those are out enough really to convince me it's an overshoot or a breakout. Yeah, it showed signs of weakness, but it's brought it now back to this side, so it may continue up. It's just hard to say at the moment, isn't it? Just wondering whether you're going to have some shorts in that if it ends up bearish. Yeah, it's worked its way back now, isn't it, to the bottom of this? So yeah, it may carry on. It's just hard to say at the moment, isn't it? It's just sitting on your hands time, isn't it? If that ends up bearish, though, that may attract some shorts. Such a big bar, though, to go long above, though, even if it does. Yeah, I'm quite happily sitting and waiting. It's still a bit, still looking a bit dodgy at the moment. Accountability King greetings. Based on this setup, I'm sure Gorilla Trade took this one. I'm sure Gorilla Trade took this one. Which one? This one here. I dare say he'll have probably jumped in on a limit order down here, won't he? He takes those types of trades, but I think they work more often than not. So I do like that Gorilla Trade guy, I got to say. I like his attitude to it. Yeah, I'm just happy sitting watching at the moment. I'm not interested in going short or long here. Yeah, he takes some riskier trades there, doesn't he? And he has more losses, but he doesn't half make his points, doesn't he? So I think the way he does it works nice, I think. It certainly works well for him. Possible second entry long. Trouble is, it's just EMA starting to point down, isn't it? It's starting to dip. Might go up, might go down. It's just hard to say at the moment. And I'd rather see a measured leg there or a larger one. Yeah, even if it does have a measured leg, your bar's down here. Do you really want to go bullish? Do you want to be thinking bullish there? Just I'm not at the moment. It's just maybe this is a break and it will go high, but it's just looking a bit dicey at the moment, isn't it? One leg, two legs. I couldn't bring myself to take a trade there, to be honest with you. That indicator there is it's just called bar size indicator. I don't know how they came up with that name, to be fair. It's that one there. It's available free, that is, at TickTech. TickTech.com. TickTech.com. Just bar size counter. I like it because it just tells me what that bar is. Well, there we go. So let's zoom out. So I'd say, based on this, fits nice up here. I'd say this is our break. Cheers. Yeah, you're welcome. You're very welcome. That one there. Yeah, trouble is I'm just not sure what's happening at the moment. I don't know whether we're going to bounce off here again. Or tank. Obviously, we tanked. Oh. You got 10 points, did you? Yeah, because we were moving up at the moment, I couldn't see anything that was indicated for me to go short, really. Trouble is, it could have come down a little bit and had a second entry long. It's hard to say, really, isn't it? Where top of this range might come to. It may be there. I don't think it can come down here at all, can it? Okay, let's leave it there. At least we know it's working somewhere within that. What is going on here? At least we know it's working somewhere within this this range. A falling balloon. In fact, there's been a few falling balloons in the US, hasn't there? Have you shot down about 3 of them? Some apparently Chinese spy balloons. I don't know how true it is or not, but I know the Chinese have quite angrily denied it, haven't they? How true it is, I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, I'm going to pull that in a tiny touch. It fits better there. So you may say there's been a little overshoot there. I can't see any other reason why it. I'm not thinking about going long here at the moment. Hopefully, if we can get up to here and come a bit lower. We've certainly come down. We've gone up. I think we could just as well come down some more. We have got the open here, so that's might stalling a touch, but I like that trend channel. If we can get a push up here, a couple of pushes up, then I'm quite happy to go low. Sorry, happy to go short there. Let's have a look. So you got 10 points here, Jacko. I'm going to rub your nose in it now. Let's find out what you could have. Let's find out what you would have won. Oh, look at that, Jacko. Oh, look at that. You'd have got 20 points there comfortably. 22 points there. Might not be finished yet. In hindsight, a wonderful thing, isn't it? I think it's going to be Brant. Yeah. I don't mind. I don't mind sitting here for 3 hours. If I can get one trade out of it, I'll be happy with that. If you could have gone on the move like that. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 27 points. Something like that, maybe. They don't often happen. I think 27 points is the most I've ever got. There is some sort of resistance around here, especially with this. About there, I'd say. Touch there. Struggling to get through there, and same again. Some support here and some resistance here. So this might be might well straight through it, or it might bounce off it. Sort of two legs down there. And we got this little bit of resistance here, so maybe. Nope. Okay, so I'm guessing down here is our next. There's a bit of congestion here, but once we get below here, that's a hell of a drop in it. That hell of a drop. Down to about here, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. 40, you'd have got 35 points if you'd have held in there. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? Look at that. Very quickly as well. If you'd have gotten that around about half past, thereabouts. So in literally 10 minutes. 10 to 10, 12 minutes. So the short was there, wasn't it? There. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 points down at here. Wow. I just couldn't bring myself to go short just yet, really, after that lot. Yeah, it's the trouble when you have these moves down so quick. They can go back just as quick, can't they? 10 points, yeah? Don't lie to us and say you got 30 points. You've already told us. You're priming us now, aren't you? And what's coming next in about 30 seconds is you got 30 points. We know you only got 10. Don't make our lives any more miserable than it already is. Okay, there's probably your break. Not even close, look. Just wondering if all the buyers are going to start piling in a minute. Yeah, 10 points. But you wish you'd have waited a bit longer, don't you? So where did you come out then? Let's have a look. Okay, yeah. I'm guessing your stop was about there, wasn't it? Well, no, it can't have been, can it? Didn't it, yeah? Yeah, you may have gone in a touch low, mightn't you? So you might have got touched out by there, yeah. So somewhere around there, yeah. Trouble is, you just don't know, do you? I mean, we had that, which was the open, so it could have rattled around there for a bit. So sometimes you're better off coming out with a guaranteed 10 points. You just don't know it's going to do this, though, do you? See if you followed that swing high, 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 that swing high. You wouldn't have got. You'd have still been in this trade now if you'd have just followed them swing highs down. Maybe I'd have thought about getting out around about here where it's starting to curl. Big bullish bar there, and it's. You got out around here. That's a nice trade, that is. Well, it didn't survive. No. Trouble is, it's easy to say that, isn't it? We just got no idea it's going to do this. It could have. I mean, really, it could have just bounced back up, couldn't it? You re-entered it, yeah. Sometimes if you get a feel for these things, you can just sort of jump in if you're risky enough or ballsy enough. There is some sort of resistance around here, so it may go back up from here or it may go a bit lower. It's just hard to say. Somewhere around about there, maybe a bit lower. Let's put that about there because it's resistance there, support there. So Maybe this might be a break and a new low. Maybe it'll go there, or maybe it'll come down the bottom. But I think after that quick move like that, I don't know it's going to be long before it's going to recover some of it. Might slow down at 4099. Reckon we'll go a bit lower, do you? Okay, so I think it's likely going to push down a touch more. See, I'm not convinced that's a break. I'd say that's pretty much. So like, I'm not convinced that's an overshoot. I think that looks about right. Actually, it's working fine. There's our first push up. There's our second push up. To me, that's 2 pushes. Let's get
Order submitted.
1 push, 2 pushes. I like that. Bollocks. That's the trouble when you get a decent move like that. It doesn't give you a chance. It moves relatively quick. No, forget
Order cancelled.
What did it move? Really about 4 points. Yeah. I couldn't get in quick enough. I like that because we had 2 legs up, big bearish bar. EMA's facing down, 2 clear legs up, finishes on its low. I think it's fair to say that's going to break this low or certainly come down to here. There's some support there, or it may push further down there. Oh, that's a shame, look. Well, it wasn't even a hidden one here, look. What, 1 leg, break, another leg. Or even if you take it as a short-term trend channel, breaking a new high. Definitely think it was a good trade. That sometimes I keep this open because if I can't get in and I think it's going to move and a good move, I'll just click sell quickly and catch it round here. But I mean, even if you'd have got in round here there, look. That was a nice setup that after this. Trouble is it finished on its low, it went back a little bit and then came down quick and it just didn't slow down, did it? Oh, look at that. Even if you'd have took it down to the bottom here, you'd have got to, bloody hell. That's the trouble. Sometimes you've got to be real quick, and yeah, I should have had a limit order up here really when I saw it break there and go up a little bit higher. You had 8 points. Yeah, it's worth holding on to them, isn't it? There, I think it was safe to say we were certainly going to hit here, and then maybe push lower, but down. So if you'd have got that one and got, that's the trouble really. Sometimes these good trades do move quick, and you don't have a lot of time to get in them. I bet a few people missed out on that one. Once it started to go around about here, that you're thinking you only got maybe a point or so left, 1.5. I think it may go lower. It's possible, isn't it? That could be 1 leg down. Trouble is, you can't really jump in on that. Let's put that there. It could be 1 leg down and maybe another one. Obviously, it's a bit too early yet, isn't it? But you just don't know, do you? That was a shame. But it finished on its low, didn't it? It went back a couple of ticks and then started coming down, and it just didn't stop. And by the time that bar had finished, you were near the lows, so there was no guarantee it was going low, and that just obviously makes it a little bit more risky. And if you're coming in here, you've got the best part then of a 5-point risk to potentially make a 1.25 points. It's just too late there, really, isn't it? I think that's why sometimes that gorilla guy sees what's happening here and then just jumps in here, maybe thinking, we've broken above it, and he maybe risks just a point and a half. And if he manages to get in there, I kind of like the way he does that. If he Because when you see a strong move down like that and we have a break and 2 clear pushes up, I think the chance of it going lower is pretty high, isn't it? Maybe 8%, maybe a bit more, maybe. So maybe jumping in something like that and risking a point might be worth it. And then if you lose your point and it pulls higher, but then comes down bearish, then you can get in again. So, but if you risk a point there and take something risky about here maybe, and ride it down to the bottom, it can be really lucrative, can't it? If you obviously, I think trades like that probably come with experience. When you've seen this do this 1,000 times, and you pretty much know that 980 times it'll come down. It's clearly had 2 pushes, or even maybe just sit there with your finger on the sell stop and just, if you think it's coming down quickly, and then just hit the sell and hopefully capture it just after it's moved. But trouble is, I bet a few people miss that. Okay, we've had a break and a new high. Not a massively convincing one, but it has played nonetheless. So what are we going to do now? Are we going to go sideways, or are we going to come back down? Yeah, it was 2 clear visual legs, wasn't it? I mean, even if you'd have drawn a short-term trend channel, it'd have still been a break a new high. So you can count highs and lows, can't you? 1 push up, pull back, 1 push up. Yeah, I mean, after seeing all that lot, and you see that, I think it's 85, 90% at least it's coming back down, isn't it? And it did in wondrous fashion. Trouble is, it went relatively quick, and if you didn't have a limit order there or something, mind you, even if you'd have dropped your limit order there and tried to catch it back at the line, it just didn't wait for no man, did it? That's why I think sometimes if you know you're going to get a quick move like that, it's useful to have that up so you can just hover over the sell button. It may be a bit risky, but after we've had 2 clear legs and such a strong move down, I think it's maybe worth the risk, especially if you're going for maybe 5, 6 or more points. But I suppose it's more of a personal preference, that, isn't it? Oh, look at that. Realise that it's closed right on that. Right to the near. Oh no, sorry, it hasn't. What am I thinking about? I was looking at the bottom. So that's clearly the new low of the day, isn't it? Definitely got an air of downwards to it now, hasn't it? Or has it? No, it probably hasn't really yet, has it? Uh, just wondering whether there's going to be any longs trapped in there. You think a couple of legs down. Yeah, who knows? Soon find out if it comes down past here. If it breaks below there, we may get a little bit more. Or not. Okay, maybe not. Having said that, possible second entry short. If you wanted to go short, it certainly seems like we're moving down, but it's just hard to say, isn't it? It's risky. It hasn't set up anyway. FOMC speaker in 3 minutes. There's nothing on my chart. I should have something here, really. It's low impact, and that's why I only tend to have the medium and the high. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break. I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee. Chat amongst yourselves. I'll be back in a few minutes. ready. I've just poured myself a nice single glass of Glenlivet, Founder's Reserve single malt. A bit too early to think of that, but you never know. Let's get rid of that now, I think. Okay, so that one's played out. Fell second entry short. I don't think I had. Oh, that one there. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that because we had a break and a new high. It's hard to say at the moment. It sort of looked a little bit sidewaysy, but there is some congestion around here. There is some support there, some resistance there, and this is looking like it's support, so it may get a bit higher. Just want to be careful not getting stuck in these. Although it's touched here a couple of times. I prefer it to touch down here really before it confirms. Let's leave it for now until we can come down here. Let's just make ourselves aware of it. If it can crack 4134, big if in my opinion. So this is what I try and stay out of now. Maybe if we'd have had maybe a breakdown here and a push high, them the types of trades I want to get in. I think if I can, oh, that whiskey is so lovely. Oh, I've got that lovely warming feeling. Oof. I'm a big single malt fan. I've had 6 bottles in the last few months. I've got to slow down a bit. Okay, all right. Okay. That's my Denzel Washington impression, incidentally. probably a bit too early to think of that, really. Hey, steady on. That's my best one, that is. Don't get me started on impressions. Who's the black guy? Does a brilliant Eddie Murphy. Does a brilliant. I forget his name. What's his name? He does a brilliant Eddie Murphy. Brilliant Denzel Washington, and who's the other guy does as well? Chris Rock. It's brilliant, as I got to say. I'm a fan of my impressions. It's there's two impersonators that I like that not only sound like them, but they make their faces like them. I don't quite know how they do it. It's almost working that face to look like. Who's the other guy? There's another guy, the white guy. He's brilliant. I forget his name now. It'll come to me. George Washington. Okay, so we've had a breakout there. We've come back down. Possible second entry long off the key entry point. That would look like we seem to be bouncing on the top of that that little bit of support there. We've bounced along it there. We've sort of sat on it there. Used it as resistance there. Same there. And we seem to be sat on it there. So I'm just wondering whether we get a second entry long off here. And whether we go long, it's hard to say. I prefer to break out the bottom, really. But they do say fade in the direction of the trend. But for me, at the moment, we're up. Jamie Foxx does. He does, actually. I love Jamie Foxx. What a talented guy. Have you heard him sing as well? Crikey. Yeah, you can't beat Jim Carrey, can you? But what's it? Has got an amazing voice. Jamie Foxx has. Who's the guy I'm thinking of? Who's the white guy I'm thinking of that does a couple of impressions? He does Tom Cruise. Fantastic, as I've got to say. In fact, there's a guy on YouTube that does he's doing some sort of edit, isn't he? He's putting Tom Cruise on his face. He's brilliant, he is. There's quite a few shorts on YouTube. There, that's one. That's it. Is it Jay Farrar? Yeah, it's fantastic. He is. He's brilliant. I was watching a clip of him on who's the other black presenter, big stocky guy. What's his name? Steve somebody. He's great. He was doing Chris Rock. He did Chris Rock. Denzel. I mean, I don't think I've seen an impersonator do impersonations of that good. His face looks like Eddie Murphy. I've got to say, when you look at him, his face doesn't. But when he does the impression, he manipulates his face. It's brilliant. He's really good. I mean, I'm a big Denzel Washington fan anyway. Okay, all right, okay. There's a second entry long there. It's quite a chunky old bar, though. I kind of like it and I don't. I like the way it's broke below and I'm thinking higher, but it's just a bit too risky. He's amazing, he is. He's amazing. His Denzel Washington is great. Chris Rock's brilliant. Who else does he do? But yeah, yeah, and that's what I thought might happen. Is he does? Who's the small guy as well? What's his name? He does a lot of stuff with The Rock. He's really talented. I've got to say, really talented. Yeah, he's looking bullish. I kind of like that, but it's a bit unnerving how it's come down. So I think the sensible thing to do. We'd had 2 pushes down, but there's 4 back to back there, so that clearly alarm bells, isn't it? You like to think it's coming back in because I'm thinking bullish as we've come down here and made this new low, and we've seemed to be slowly climbing our way back up. But It is getting this barbed wiry sort of wicky look, and it could shoot up or shoot down a bit. So it's just a bit. Yeah, Jamie Foxx has got an amazing singing voice. Wow, what a talented guy he is. He's an all-rounder, isn't he? I've got to say. Wow, that whiskey's hit the spot. Wow, I feel great now. What a way to trade. Don't half calm the nerves. I've only had a single, so no comments about Kevin High. He's a great guy, isn't he? I got to say, you guys have got some great entertainers. Yeah, I'd love to go out for an evening with him and The Rock. I think you'd have a scream, wouldn't you? Kevin Hart, yeah. A funny guy. Some people are just born funny, aren't they? Yeah, although we haven't taken any trades, I feel quite content. If you can sit here for all this stuff and feel quite, be quite patient about it. I've done my job, haven't I? I can't see any major setups apart from that one. That was a cracking trade, that was. And I think there was a lot of people jumped in on there, hence it just went like a train, didn't it? Off it went. That's the trouble sometimes when you get this big, strong move down, you have two clear pushes up to the EMA, beautiful big bearish bar. Sometimes you've got to be that quick to think. That's why I think with those trades, sometimes you may be better off with your finger on the sell button, and as soon as it clicks, zoom into it, and as soon as it goes, boom. Well, a limit order do the same, but I think the good thing about the sell order is you may catch it on those first few ticks down, and although it might be risky, I'd have said after that big strong trend, I'd say there's going to be a lot of shorts in that, which is going to push it at least to here. So I'd have been happy getting in there, I think. Yeah, it's getting a bit barbed wire here, isn't it? I'm in it on the long side. Yeah, I'd say at the moment, I can't see any other option bar long. See, that actually might fit quite nice. It does, actually. Touched it once. I mean, it's literally bounced. It's not just one bounce. It's bounced a few times there. If we can maybe get back here. It fits at the top nice. So I suppose that's just... I'm trying to calm down the amount of larger trends I do, because sometimes I think the more important thing is the short-term trends. They tend to tell you a lot more information and stop you making as bad mistakes. See, we'd had that break. It's just too choppy there, really. But yeah, I think I'm guilty, like a lot of people, about missing these. I think they're incredibly important, the short-term trends. They do stop you making some stupid mistakes. But obviously you do need to look at the bigger picture as well. So I feel like I'm learning every day, fortunately, because I'm in the UK. Markets don't generally... yeah. Hey, Coco, how you doing? I'm in the UK. Markets don't open until 2:30 our time, so I'm quite lucky in the way that I work for an agency, and I can get £30 an hour, which is like about $36–37 weekends. So I can do 12, 15-hour shifts Saturday, Sunday, give myself 4.5 days pay. So I'm quite lucky like that. So I'm able to trade Monday to Friday, and I tend to around about the 3.5 hours. So should you have targeted the range low? Should oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, trouble is that came down that quick. You just and same again. You just don't know, do you? So these ranges can be the best things to trade, and they can be the worst. We did have a day last week where every time it went up, it must have went up 5 different times, and it finished to the nearest tick. well, they're the nice ranges to trade, but a lot of other times sometimes they'll finish here, sometimes they'll finish here, and they can be really tough to trade. But I need to try and focus on these measured legs, because the measured legs are a good indicator. I mean, if we had a measured leg down, say from here to there, and another one to here, and that was the bottom, we had a nice bullish bar, then that would be a nice place. You know, I'm trying to focus on the bigger pictures. I know the Gorilla guy focuses a lot of his trades on measured moves, a lot of his trades, and he tends to do no less than 6 points. And I've seen quite a few trades where he's got considerably more. And when I say more, he took a 31-point trade the other day. Fortunately, we had a move like this. But same again. The only trouble is with that, I know what you're saying with that. It's a lower high second entry. But the trouble is, when we've had such a push up here, I just get a bit nervous about going counter trend at the moment. Although we had, especially with it just being a bit unpredictable at the moment. But sometimes, you know, maybe sometimes it's worth taking a risk. But that bar wasn't very small, I don't think. It was 3 points. So, and that wasn't too bad. So a tick above, tick below. I'm not sure there, see, because I don't know. I was thinking maybe a couple of legs down and then another push. So it's just was 4 points in the money and about to get stopped out. Bad luck, mate. Nothing worse than that. I've got to say, if I start off with a winning trade, I tend to get hyper vigilant, which is a good thing. And I tend to get extra 4.75. Bad luck, mate. It does happen. Bad luck, it happens. Yeah, it still takes time to get used to the losses, doesn't it? I often wonder, do you ever get used to the losses? Maybe you do. Maybe it's when you've been trading. I think at the end of the day, if you've been trading 3 years and you've been making consistent profits as a full-time trader for a few years, I'm guessing it probably doesn't bother you a loss. It might tick you off a little bit, but I don't think it has any sort of psychological effect, I would say. That's what I hear from people. I've heard Thomas Wade, he started showing a lot of his live trades maybe 6 or 8 months ago. And he says they tend to not bother him now. But I think somebody mentioned Mac. When Mac started making money, it took him 2 years until losses didn't bother him. I got to say, if I took a genuine trade, like if I took this, that clear to me that was a good trade too. Now, if that ticked down and came out and stopped me out, that wouldn't really bother me that much. Because it looked like a good trade. But if I'm getting impatient and I'm trying to force something in the chop like this maybe, they're the ones that tend to unsettle me a bit. So I think, well, based on what I've said there, the key is wait for a setup that jumps at you. To me, 1 push up, 2 push ups. After this big push down, up to the MA, big bearish bar. To me, that was the trade of the day so far. Unfortunately, probably a few of us missed that because it went. These good trades do tend to go. I know somebody mentioned to me, I think you should stick to 2 points. Well, if you get these good setups, they go a damn sight more than 2 points. If I'd have come out there, I'd have been gutted. Even if you'd have taken it, you know, you'd had just maybe you take profit down here and you'd have followed it down, you'd have easily got 11 points. Easily. Which is, if you're taking 2 points, that's the equivalent. Taking away commissions, that's the equivalent of 5 winning trades at 2 points. I just think there's so much left in the markets on these good trades. It's a shame really to miss out. That channel doesn't look too bad. But in fact, it might be confusing me. Let's have a look. Okay, we've had a couple of legs up and we've come into this. So let's forget. Let's think about what's going on rather than the bigger picture. We've got a push up, break new high, push down, break new low, push up, break new high, sideways. I'm trying to leave these bigger trends alone because they can get me into a spot to bother. You enjoy these yo-yo days, do you? Well, to be honest with you, at least we seem to be getting some better setups, because some days it's been horrendous. You know, you've really had to work for a setup, and you're lucky if you get a couple of points. And then yesterday there was three or four really nice trades, and I mean trades like this, clear trades that just, I mean, stuff like this. I rarely see trades like this fail, and when I say rarely, I mean incredibly rarely. So if you can got the patience to sit through all this sort of stuff and take these, wow, you're going to be made. But it is just sitting through this, isn't it? Wow, it's all right. I'm just typing someone out. Yeah, I was expecting that. Sorry about that. It's all right. Someone asking for some advice about transferring money into NinjaTrader from the UK. Trouble is, NinjaTrader charge you flipping extortionate exchange rates. So, incidentally, if anybody does want to exchange any money or send any money to NinjaTrader and trade your own money, I use Revolut. I have a Revolut Steel account and I can exchange whatever currency I want free of charge. So I can just, if I'm sending US dollars, I can send US dollars and exchange it at the current market rate. So I did also advise him, if he's quite new to it and he's putting money into it, I'd rather trade with a prop firm because you're less likely. Because when I first put money in, I lost $3,000 rapido. Okay, 2 legs down. Let's have a look. Bangs the same place. I kind of like it, but I don't. I've given up picking tops and bottoms. Is it going to go up? Possibly. We've had 2 measured legs. I'm going to leave it alone. I think we've hit exactly the same place there, so I think it's likely going to go up, but I think it's risky. There you go. Risky it is. That's why I left it. Now, you would think 2 measured legs, slightly bullish, finished about the same place or broken a new low, but I'm giving up on them. I've been shafted so many times. Big potential move coming. I hope so, my friend. In fact, we may. Let's have a look. I think we've had a measured leg down initially, haven't we? Or have we? We actually haven't, have we? Maybe that is probably a bit lower there, or is it? Maybe not. Let's put it back to there. Cool, this one moved down, so yeah, maybe we're going to get 2 legs down. It does seem, as we've hit this bottom, we've broke slightly lower, we broke slightly lower, so maybe there's a downtrend overall. Yeah, it's a bit too early, I think, at the moment. That might be something for the end of the day, but yeah, maybe we expect another leg down, 1 leg down, maybe another leg down. It's hard to say, isn't it? Oh, it's hard to say. What am I doing here? Get a grip, fatty. Okay. Oh, Sam, this is one of your. You need to really get yourself a crystal ball, or have you got a crystal ball? Where are we? 4099. You're thinking down here, are you? Yeah, you're probably right, actually. In fact, you're probably about where that measured leg is, I'd say. 99. I wish they'd break these down. Is there a way of getting these? What did you say? 4099. Okay, so you're around about here, aren't you? Somewhere around there. Okay. That would come into the same sort of place as that measured move. Top. After we've had a push up. No, I wouldn't include that. You're just looking at the bigger picture. Yeah. No, I want someone to blame, because if I take a trade here and it fails, at least I can say, well, oh, some said that's where we were going. Which then is technically your fault. It's about the same as this measured move anyway. I'm certainly not getting involved in everything, but that certainly looks now maybe slightly bearish. See what happens. Said that earlier, didn't I? I don't know, mate. I don't know. Anyway, your line's in there, mate. Somewhere around about there. Oh, here we go. You got some competition, mate. He's thinking down here. Okay, that's yesterday's lows. Yeah, yesterday's lows. Okay. Closest to it wins a 2-week holiday. Okay, let's just see if we can't. Okay. Yeah, whichever way I adjust that, we've already had a break and a new low, but maybe as we can still push up, tag the bottom of here, and then come down some more, which I think is possibly likely. Let's zoom in here. Get a clearer picture. Okay, possible hidden second entry short. Now we have broken, technically made a new low, haven't we? But it's not massively convincing low, is it? Or is it? It probably is. I don't know. I don't think you could even incorporate any of that to say we haven't had a new low. I think whichever way you draw it, we've had a new low. Now, if it's bearish enough, it obviously can continue down, but anybody go short here if the opportunity arises? It's sort of a hidden second entry short in it. I don't like the way it's finished there, although it's probably likely going to come lower. But I've got to be in the business of taking decent setups, and for that at the moment it's just a bit too sitting on top of that line. So although it's a relatively small risk, isn't it? What is it? 2.25 points. It's quite a small bar, that is, but it looks like a hidden second entry short. But I'd rather, I don't want to get trapped here, so I'm just going to sit and watch. Yeah, see, if I'd have gone short there, I'd have been panicking about now. Because technically that channel has played out. It doesn't mean to say it's not going to come lower, but if you went short there, I'd say you're likely going to get stopped out here. Now, if that, I actually hope that does go up there, because then if it comes bearish, then that's a second entry short. It doesn't look like it's going to finish right, and it's going a bit sideways there, so yeah, when it goes sideways, it's a bit of indecision, and probably the indecision is because we've actually had a break and a new low. But I suppose it depends where there's going to be more shorts thinking we're going to go lower still. I'd say from what I'm seeing, it's certainly got a bearish momentum. But it's not massively convincing. You know, these tops are slightly lower, these lows are lower still. So maybe on a 10,000 tick chart or something like that, it might look a bit more bearish, but yeah. So if you did take that short, you kept that by the skin of your teeth. Prices can easily go both ways. Yeah, I notice it going sideways there. You just don't know, can you? Because that is the, well, I suppose you could call it somewhere close to the bottom of the range. So we've had a break, we've pushed up, we've bounced off it a couple of times. So one would think we'll be going lower, but like I say, at the moment, it's only a thought rather than a confidence, a confident, you know, decision making. It can, you know, we could be going something like that, but it's early to say at the moment, isn't it? And it's so easy to get stuck here. I think they're likely going lower, but I wouldn't put money on it. Okay, that's a failure. It just doesn't seem... we've had this new high. Try again once again, matching high. I think it's likely it's going to come down, but I don't know. It's just a little bit choppy for me. It's not clear. Yeah, it's a little bit sidewaysy. And there's not much room left to the lows, but I'm guessing, just with the way things are looking, it's likely to come down, but I just think it's a bit risky. It's just a little bit too far away there. But I think it's likely coming lower, but I don't... it's triggered. But, yeah, I'm staying out of that one. I'm trying to keep this, just wait for those great setups to jump out at me, and that one just isn't jumping because at the moment it's a little bit rangy, and that one is close to the bottom of the range, and there's not a lot left. Just think we may come up and down a few times. We may even go back up. So that is just not. I mean, if the bottom was down here and then we came up to there, then I may think about. But I don't think there's a lot of room down there, and I think it's a bit dangerous. No, absolutely not convincing. No, it's not. It has triggered, but the way this is operating now, it's just. I'd say there's not a huge amount of shorts in there. If there was a lot of shorts in there, then it may come down, but I think it's likely you're going to get stopped out if you took that failure. I might be wrong. We've had this high slightly. It may just finish there and come down lower, but to me, it's just going a little bit sideways at the moment. Probably reason being is because we're at the low of the day. And we're at the sort of bottom of this range, so we've had a break and a new low. Are we having pushes up back into it, or are we coming lower? But it's not clear at the moment, is it? Oh, that's a new name, isn't it? Bad J. Oh, doesn't actually sound as bad as it's spelled, is it? Bad J. Not much meat left on the bone. No, I think you're right. Where are you from, mate? I think you're a new face, aren't you? Always like to know where people are from. Yeah, it's getting a little bit barbed wiry. It's a bit wickier, isn't it? From here, so at the moment, I'd say there's some uncertainty. Okay, that fits quite nice, right on the tops of there. So yeah, I'd say we're a little bit rangy at the moment. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, it did seem like it was going down, but I think it was just a bit risky. If I'd gone short there, my arse would be twitching a good one. I just don't want the stresses of stuff like that. Phoenix, Arizona. I've been tuning in for you for about a week. Oh, okay. I've not seen you up. Have you been sat in the background quite scared? We're not scary. We're all quite friendly. So nice to see you. Nice to see our friends from over the pond. We're all just a bunch of like-minded people. We're all used to lots of abuse and lots of misery learning this business of trading. Close to the bottom. Are we, though? Are we? Who knows? So, just have a wee scan over here. Okay, that was yesterday's low. Are we going to make it? Possibly. Maybe not. I certainly think we may come down to this measured leg. I know some of you've got your, excuse me, you've got your special mark there. That's where Osam believes. So when we get to that, everybody buy. And if it fails, you know, to blame. too late. Too late, I bubbled you. Oh, some said that's where we're going to. So that is purely his fault. Don't buy or sell based on what I say. We believe in you. We believe in you. Took that failed second entry long after the double top 3 points. Failed second entry. So that one there, did you? Yeah. Yeah, May's facing down. I'd have said it's probably just the way things are looking, gonna come down here. So, yeah, I don't think it was a bad trade. Well, there was obviously a lot of other traders thought that was a good trade because it pushed down about 4 points. And what did you say you got out of it? Did you? 3 points. Happy days. That's a good number now. I think you need to be getting 3 points minimum. Certainly 2 points. If it's a bit choppy and there's not a lot of move, maybe 2 points. But I certainly think there's way more on the. I think really. My personal opinion, I like to look for minimum 1-to-1. So depending on obviously the ATR's a fraction over 3 at the moment. So tick above, tick below, it's about 3.5 points. So I like to go for 3.5 points. If I take a short here, when it gets to around 3.5 to 4 points, I'll usually drop in my stop. And then if it does go lower, I'll just obviously follow it down and try and get some more out of it. But I think trading 1 point is just horrendous at the moment. You're asking to get battered, and I think unless you're incredibly experienced, it's gonna mess you, because you need to be getting 90%, really, to make money at 1 point. Even 2 points now, I think you've got to start at a minimum of 2 points. Just watching Trading the earlier action. It's not been a huge amount today. There has been one really good trade, but it went that quick. Highs of the range need to be taken before I consider short again. Yeah, I like to think it's going shorter, but at the end of the day, we've had a break and a new one. Even if it wasn't convincing enough, we've had a break and made a new high again. But we have got this measured move down here, and also OSUM's important measurement. Scalping, a good evening. If we get it wrong, long, enough space to pull back. Yeah. Let's remove that. Take the pressure off you, lad. Yeah, it's probably it fits kind of nice actually. That does kind of like that, but maybe as we're going with this measurement, but it's a bit early, really, isn't it? It does fit here, fits there, but it's only once or twice at the bottom. So I'm tending to. I like to see that just to see if it gives us any indication. But I tend to focus now on the smaller stuff because it's a bit safer focusing on the shorter term stuff. I've got a short term trend up with a break, but there's not much room to the highs. But I'd say it's probably likely going to touch here. But it's not doing anything really. Yeah. So we've got a short term turn, break, push up. It's just not convincing me that it's going down or up at the moment. If I had to guess, I'd say just purely because of the measured move, I'd say it's going to come down, but market might have other ideas. Okay, so we've had a break and a new high. That might be, in fact, I kind of like that.
Order submitted.
If it comes bearish. Reason being because it's bounced lovely out. Then we've had a little push out, and I'm thinking bearish, and it's a second leg. So I kind of like that.
Order filled.
I kind of like that. We've had a push break, a new high, bearish bar. We've had a breakout of this channel, fade the breakout. I like to think we're going down, so I kind of like that, and I think it's worth the risk. Yeah, I think that's okay. That is. I tend to not like picking tops, but we have had a push up and a break and a new high. We've clearly broken out the top of this. So for me, I think it's okay. I'm not going to be too greedy. If I can take it down to maybe the middle somewhere. I'm going to take it there because it's messing around a bit there. I might get stopped out, but if I can get a couple of points, I'm happy with that.
Stop filled.
Okay, what do we get? 0.75. It's probably going to come down. I like the setup. We had a short-term trend. We had a break. Clearly a new high. This I think it's still going to come lower, but you know, when you just think I'd rather just get a bit today. Take profit midpoint. Yeah, what did I come out somewhere else, didn't I? Let's have a look. Here, yeah, I got is that 0.75 thereabouts, isn't it? Taking away commissions. Yeah, it's a 0.75. In fact, I think this is probably
Order
a better
submitted.
trade. Massive bloody bar, though, isn't it? Let's see if it finishes. No.
Order canceled.
But one push down. I think that's not a bad trade. First time. Good on you, mate. Let's see if that trigger. I'll talk to you in a minute about that, mate. Okay, so let's not be too hasty here. I think it's
Order submitted.
let's see if it triggers. I kind of like it. We're going to come down. I kind of like that. We've come out and we've got a lower high. Let's see if we can get another limit a bit.
Order filled.
Okay, that's where I wanted. Let's close this here. Okay, I like that because we've come out there and we've made a lower high. I expect to get down to the bottoms here. I still feel that we're going to come down at the moment. And I think that was an okay. I think that was okay. So we had a push up, clear break, new high, broken out the top of this, clearly above all this. To me, that's worth taking back into the range. That one's a lower high, one push down. I expect another push down to the bottom here. Took it on a limit order, 3.25 point maximum risk. So I think that's okay. I'm happy with that. See if we can hit our target.
Target filled.
Happy days. Okay. Ooh, expecting that. I like that very much. Push up, break, new high. See, if you look at this, close on the body, close on the body, close on the body, near enough on the body, close on the body. One push up, break, new high. I think that was a good trade. That one, I liked it because I thought it's coming strong, and I think we're likely to come to the bottom. So I stopped trading the midlines of the range, not reliable enough. So I thought it was a good trade, actually. Well, I'm not a fan of, as you know, of picking highs. Excuse me a second. But I'd say from what I can see, we've had a strong push down and we're having a bit of a correction. And they say fade in the direction of the trend. And for me at the moment, the trend's down. So as we've hit it once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times really nicely, and we don't often do that in these ranges at the moment. When we had a push up, we had a break and a new high. not only was it two legs, a measured leg up, but we broke out the top, fade in the way of the range. I think that was a good trade, and it came back down. And I took that one as well because I thought I like the way, for me, we're coming down, so I thought that was okay. So let's have a look. Yeah, I don't know what you guys think. I think it was a good trade. I'm testing out Replicant for the first time. Does that window need to be open? Okay, Coco. It doesn't need to be, but let me tell you something. Let me just open up something up here a minute. Let's go for a buy.
Order submitted.
Now, I don't know if it's the same on Replicante, but I think it probably might be. See how this is accepted? Now, that says position there, so that's accepted, which tells me the trade sat there waiting. Now, if I say take a trade there, it'll show up there as a position, which means it'll show you your trade is working. Now, if you've got 2 or 3 accounts, it'll show you 1 or 2 or 3. Now, if they're not showing in there, but they're showing accepted, then you can cancel. I'm probably not making much sense, but you can cancel a trade or right click and flatten everything. But I mean, you can have them on here if you want, but I kind of like them in separate box because my head focus is usually over here. So I like the fact that they're right next to me. But you don't have to open them, but I like them because I like to know that I can see which orders that are sat waiting. Let's close him so I can close
Order
him.
cancelled.
And also, as soon as they're triggered, I can see here. And if I've got 2 accounts, I want to make sure I can see 2 accounts there, because if I can't, one of them isn't triggered. And then I can right click it. So if I've got, let me open that trade again.
Order submitted.
If you've got 2 accounts, one's triggered and the other one's still sat there, then I did that a couple of weeks ago, and it was still sat there. It never triggered, but as it hit my stop, it triggered a buy order. So if you've got 2 accounts and only one of them is showing that's triggered and the other one's here, you can just close that
order
one down.
Cancelled.
So it's just something I do. Not that I've had much experience yet, but I just like to get in the habit of doing that. You know what I mean? But I hope that helps, mate. Just close the panel trade. Yeah. I mean, you can just open them here, can't you? I just like they're in separate windows. The trouble of having here is my head's usually over here at the trade, so I like the fact that I've got it close to me, you know what I mean? So, we took that one and that one. Okay. That was definitely the better trade. I'm still thinking bearish at the moment. A lot of the times when you see these strong pushes in, it will go sideways. It will sort of correct and then come out again. I'm thinking about this measured leg, and they say fade in the direction of the range. And for me, or the direction of the market, for me, we're going down. And I went there because I thought it's likely to go down to the bottom. And I took it on a limit order, so I took it a little bit less. So. Sorry. What was that? Entry stop. Why did I get 2 here? What happened there? Did each one triggered slightly different, so let me have a look. I'll work that out in a bit, but it wasn't as much of a risk. I think it was here and I came out here, so it wasn't. Sorry about that. It wasn't a massive risk, I don't think. Let me just measure it. That's where I came out of that one, wasn't it? Came in there. Came out there, is that right? I can't think. But it wasn't a massive risk anyway. That one there, I think I came. I can't think. My head's gone blank at the moment. But I took it on a limit, so it was only maybe. I mean, what was the whole bar? Let's do it from top to bottom. So the whole bar was 3.5 points. I came on a limit, so I think it was probably about a 2 3/4 point risk, I think. But I thought, as we've had that short-term trend in, short-term channel, I watched that. Sorry. I watched the Gorilla guy mention the other day about these short-term trend channels. So if I'm taking this, that's a short-term trend channel. So if I'm coming in here on a lower high, you would then expect it to keep going until we had a break and a new low, which we sort of did, didn't we? You might say that was a break. It's hard to say, but I kind of like the thought behind it, that if I'm coming in on a short-term trend channel, generally they'll keep going until they make a break and a new low. But when they've made a break, at least then you know that they're probably going to continue down till they make a new low. So you've got maybe a little bit of a heads up. But that's just my... So anyway, it worked okay. So I did like that one. I see a lot of those and I don't take them, but to me that was two clear legs up, push up, break, new high. And we've broken right above all this and it fitted lovely. So for me, that was a no-brainer. And after we'd short-term trended and pulled up again, I thought that was okay. And they both worked out right. Yeah, Coco, yeah. It just gives you a heads up. I'd watch a few videos if I was you, mate, because they can be a little bit problematic sometimes. I'm hoping that as you've got Replicanto, I think that's probably the better option, because they're probably going to have more support. Well, they will have more support being a software firm. The trouble is with the Apex one, they sort of sell it as a little extra. They don't, obviously they're not in the market at the software business. So I'd say Replicanto. But yeah, it just shows you orders. Orders sat there waiting, and then all of a sudden, if they'll trigger, they'll pop up here. So what you want to see is two accounts. Yeah, if you've got one account but the other one didn't trigger, cancel it, because it can turn into a buy order or a sell order because it's still sat there. And I've had issues with that. I was, so I hope that helps. It's just orders and positions. So just click on here and just put duplicate in a new window, and there you go. And you can just add a position, or I've got positions and orders there. So if you grabbed an orders, there's your orders, and then you just delete what you don't want. So I hope that helps, mate. Okay, so was that a convincing low? It had a break and a new low, but we did have a new low and a lower still, so that was a new low. But we had a bit of a breakout. Bit of an overshoot of this, and it compensated here, so it could theoretically set a trend in the other direction. What's the word I'm looking for? Trade copy a setup panel. I haven't got mine on at the moment, mate. And he's got Replicanto, so it's slightly different, isn't it? I think Replicanto will have a lot more in the way of setup videos. I think Replicanto is a better option. It's a shame about that one. That was a lovely trade, that was. See, these really good setups just done half a run, don't they? And I think that was a good setup as well. And if you'd have had the confidence to take it down the bottom. See, my confidence has been knocked a little bit. If I can get a PA count up nicely, then I'll probably get it back. But if you'd have taken that trade there, you could have potentially run it down to the bottom, even maybe a little bit higher in the bottom. You could have got 8 points out of it easily. So that's all you'd need for the day. On what I'm trading here, that would have been an $800 trade. At the beginning of the trading day, I always place an order somewhere far away from the current price to check both NinjaTrader and RT Pro orders. A copy of the correct. Right, I got you. Cross-following accounts, yeah. I think there's lots of useful tips and information about doing these, but ultimately I think you just need to experience it because it can be a bit frustrating, especially when things go wrong, because sometimes markets can move that quick that it will trigger your main account or your lead account, and by the time it comes to triggering the second one a split second later, market might have moved quickly. So sometimes when markets are a bit volatile, it can mess you around a little bit. But that's the beauty of having the two windows open. You can see what positions, and if you're trading two accounts, you want to see two positions there for each account. If you only see one and you see an order still waiting there, just close that order. But they say, I know Apex say, just right click and flatten everything. Well, if you've got a good trade, you don't want to flatten it. So at least then you can let that one trade go, because if you've took a trade, you deem it to be a good trade. And if you've got one trading but the other one hasn't, just close down the one that didn't trigger it, but keep the good trade, because I don't see the point in right clicking and flatten everything, because you're potentially flattening a good trade. If you buy a discounted account, blow it out upon entry, the month gets reset. 12, 13, 2. What did I get there? Not as much as I expected. Yeah, those triggered a quarter of a point aside apart. I don't quite know why. Just on the one account. Okay, so 11, 12, 13. So we've got 1.75 points there. Lost my ball. I need to get some more confidence. So 1.75 points. 5. Sorry, I got my mic in the way. And that one was got a bit more there, didn't we? So let's round it up or down. It doesn't really matter. Let's round it up and add a quarter of a point. So 10. So we got 5.75. Is that right? 5.75. Let's take it away. 5.5 points. That's not right, is it? .75. 10. If I round it up to the 10, that's 5 3/4 points, isn't it? 5 3/4 points in a point. That's 6 3/4. That should be 7.5. What's going on there? Have I lost my marbles here? Right, that's printed wrong, that is. I don't know. Okay, some entry was here. It closed here, didn't it? Entry, close, yeah. Entry, close. Okay, yeah. Let's take it in the middle. See, that on average is showing 4.25 points. But that 4110. 410. Sorry, yeah, of course it is. That's 4 3/4 points. 5 3/4 points. Yeah, let's take a quarter off. Let's say 4 points. Okay. Let's even it out a bit. 4 points. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah, what I'm going to start to do in the next couple of days, I mean, these seem to be moving up now, is just putting down, I'm assuming I put them in the description down below, just at the timings where the trades were. So the good thing about that one, I can just put the one time. It'll just help. A couple of people have mentioned, can I put the times of the trades so they're not forced to sit through 3 hours of listening to me rabbit on. Shit. Okay. Okay. Let's move these out of the way a little bit. Okay, up we go. Okay, that fits. Okay, okay. All right, all right. Sorry, it's my Denzel Washington again. It just keeps popping out. Touch, 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 touch. Close enough. 4120. Need to go. I thought we'd push a bit lower here, actually. Well, we did technically, didn't we? We had this break out the top, come down the bottom, but I thought we may come down some more, but we seem to be moving up. Excuse me a second. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. There is a little bit of congestion around this where we are now, actually. Somewhere around there, I would say. There is just. Early loser if 428 goes likely target in 138 highs 2838. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird how it sort of sits there and sits there. So you think markets are random, they're not, are they? So you've got some resistance there, some support there, some resistance there. So we can get through this little bit of an area here. There is a little bit there, but I think it's likely then this is where it may struggle or turn or whatever way you think it's going to happen. So, have you all got plans tonight, have you? I'm just having an evening in, I am tonight. I suppose a lot of you will be out for dinner, maybe. Romantic night in. When you've got a 14-year-old daughter, these romantic nights are few and far between. I think we'll just be having a glass of wine, maybe a scotch. And dinner tonight. Homemade pizza night tonight. So I've got to go downstairs after this and make some dough. You were done, are you, Colin? So you've got something to take it, have you? I'm sure you took something earlier, didn't you? What did you say? What did you say? Sure, you said you had something earlier. Good trading, friends. Yeah, have a great evening. If you're out, you might be going out for a meal. Maybe you got a night of romance planned, or maybe you haven't. I'll be here tomorrow anyway. Where are we now? Probably do another, I don't know, half an hour, 3/4. See what happens. We're up nicely today anyway. I'm quite happy going home on that. Yeah, I thought we may have a little bit of struggling around here. There's definitely some around here, and here. But if we can push up, then we may, a little bit more here, we may get up to these highs. So I'd say that's quite a nice trend. It works quite nice. Let's make that there. Fits quite nice on the highs. Barbed wire. I think that fits quite nice there. Hits the top, comes back down. Hits the top a couple of times, comes back down. Hits the top more or less. See what happens here. Maybe we'll get a second entry long off here somewhere. I prefer to come down here before I think about going long there, but it is a possible second entry long. There is a bit of resistance up here, but usually if we can break above this, it usually moves. So possible second entry line. It's just too risky taking it there, really. It's got to come down here, I think. Only is it here, but that midline's holding prices as well, isn't it? Look, tick, 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 body, 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 body. It's come down here really. Connect with this EMA and then something bullish. I'm quite happy to fade it back into that. I like to think we're going lower. I don't think there's 2 legs up there, is there? Let's have a look. I certainly think we're going higher, but obviously that's just too risky taking anything in there really. It's got to come down here first. Second entry long down here. Okay. Yeah, there may have been some shorts here. Ooh, look at it go. Sometimes I used to put trades in here and just have them as a point. There have probably been some shorts there anyway, thinking about maybe the trap. But it didn't stop them out, and then as soon as we popped above this, up it goes. Now, is there going to be some shorts there? Just can't. It's just too risky at the moment trading this. Yeah, it's the trouble with these sometimes. They shoot out, but they come back quite quickly. I used to take some of these trades, and I found out if you can put a point or even a point and a half above them, a lot of the times they'll let you point, make your money, because they can come back and reverse. Sometimes I'd ride them, but then they'd often come back. So I used to have my little order down here with a what, just put it a 1 point trap or something. I can't remember what I used to call it, but yeah. One leg down. I'd like to see another little leg down here before I think about going long. Just a little bit congested here, and it's still sort of stuck in this sideways stuff. Or at least like to see this stem come right down here first, and then push back up. Or I think about it certainly fits in there. I think that's as good as a trend, a channel with touching here, touch fits nice here, fits nice here. Same with the back end; it's not too bad at all. We have got. There was a little bit of congestion here, which is why I drew that line sort of here and here a little bit. If we can get above it, then I think it's likely we're going to come up here somewhere. Maybe touch the highs again. We can retest. I prefer 2 legs down there. If we can get 2 legs down there, then I'll have a consider going long there. The only trouble is, by the time we get to them 2 legs, we're going to be down here somewhere, so Okay, sort of first entry. See if we can get down here. Maybe a bit risky going along from down here, but I'd rather the bar not be here, because if that pushes up bullish here, although it's a second entry, then there's four bars back to back, and I don't like that. Although we have technically broken out the bottom of this section, so you would think, I mean, just because there is some congestion doesn't mean it's not going to go long. I think if the setup's good enough, but I prefer it down here, really. Yeah, that was what I was afraid of. I think it's likely going to go high. It's certainly a second entry long at the key entry point. Oh, there you go. Up it goes. It's just there's 4 bars back to back here, so if you got, yeah, I think it'd be risky going in that. Just with these here. Oh, that fits nice. Touches here, touches here, touches here. Finishes with the body nice. I'd have preferred to have another leg down here, really. See, that's triggered. It might work. It probably will, but it's a 4.75 bar risk, so tick above, tick below. It's 5 1/4. It's quite a chunky risk. There's not a lot of room to the highs, really. Let's remove that so we can see that stem. There's the highs. I think if it can get above this, then I think it may go higher, but I think it's safe to say there's going to be some shorts in that, so if it can push above there, I think it'll get some momentum. If it can push above that, I think it'll have a little bit of a pop, because I'd say there's almost definitely going to be some shorts in there. I'm calling it a day, leading loser. Yeah, have a good one, mate. Have a good one. Incidentally, guys, this runs out tonight, the 80% off, so if you're after a valuation, I have a code there. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it's 80% off at the moment, so it's cheap as chips, as we say over here. So use that if you like. I'd appreciate it, but it runs out midnight Eastern Standard Time tonight, so last day to grab an 80% off. Just going to observe. Yeah. Yeah, quite enjoy it. I'm quite happy sat here watching, because you're learning as you're watching, aren't you? You're making these sort of, with what the market's telling you, you're working out what you think's going to happen, and it just helps you get used to reading it. So I'm quite happy with sitting. I felt quite patient today. I'm quite happy sat here. And at least when you have a decent amount of money, and that's a decent day's work for 2 contracts, I'm quite happy to sit here for the next half an hour and not take any more, because at least I know I'm going to be going home with some money in me penny. I think from what I'm seeing, it's likely we're going to push up. It just might be taking a bit of time to get above here. I think there'll be some shorts there. There may be even some there. Yeah, there is a little bit of resistance there, which is support there, and it seems to be having the same problem. See if we maybe get another run up at it. If we can get down here, we may get some more longs and trying to push it higher. At least some of the shorts will have taken their profit. Okay, measured move more or less comes down to here. It is again, isn't it? A little bit. It'll pop out here, pop out here. I've left it there because it touches four times nicely on a body. Touches there 5, touches here 6. Couple of little pops out and coming back. It just makes me wonder. There is a second entry short possible there. I don't know. I just whether if I can bring myself to go short at the moment and not until this is properly played out at least. I mean, we haven't made a new high, have we? But I'm just checking. There isn't. No, there's nothing there, is there? Yeah, we do seem to be going up, don't we? But nothing great in the way of a setup. That's the trouble. You may have gone long here, in which case you're still okay, and it's the lowest part here, so you probably are okay, but likely to go to a 4134. Yeah, up here some. Yeah, I still expected it to come higher. Just by the way it's looking, we've had this push, we've had a break. Sometimes we'll go a little bit of sideways, and then, but it does look like it's slowly starting to aim upwards. If this ends up bearish, that may be a second entry short. There's probably going to be some people short in that. There's probably some longs in there. Sorry, some shorts in there. Maybe a few more here. If this goes up, maybe. I don't know. Touches, maybe they'll say triple test it. It's hard to say at the moment. I think it's quite likely going to make a new high. If it does get above this, it'll have a little pop. Here we go. If it can break this, I'm guessing a little bit of a spurt. Not quite as dramatic as I was expecting. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to leave it there for the day. I'm making homemade pizza for Valentine's Day, so I've got to go down and make some dough. And if I leave it any longer, I'm going to start getting... I've got 2 annoying women downstairs. So that wasn't a bad day, actually. That was, I think, a really nice trade. Gutted I missed that one. I think that was another nice one. I don't think that was too bad. Clearly, I was expecting it to come down here, and it didn't disappoint. So that's not a bad day. I'll mark my chart up later. Let me get rid of that. I'll mark my chart up later and pop it on Facebook group. 2 trades today. I'm happy with that. I felt pretty good today, pretty solid. I'm quite happy. Market's swinging a lot more now, isn't it? Whereas we've had so much congestion. We've had a push, and a push. We tend to lately we'll get a push and a ton of congestion, but it's not been too bad today. It's been a bit clear, and we've had a few trades. Certainly that one was a good trade. Shame I missed that one. Didn't. The trouble is these good trades do move. I like that one as well very much. That one I don't think it was too bad. I think we'd have this push down, and I think we were coming down to the bottom. And we made a new low, which was what I was expecting from this, although we technically had. But I like to come back to the EMA and then make a new low. But it's doing a little bit of sideways. I think it's likely going to come up to here, possibly higher. It's hard to say at the moment, but so that runs out tonight. So if you're in the market for one of those, it runs out at midnight. So well, they're 80% if you need one or you want one. I got a code there. I get a small kickback from it. Doesn't cost you anything more. That's the only reason I put it there. So it's there if you require it. So happy Valentine's Day, guys. Have a great evening if you're going out with your families or your wife or your girlfriend or whatever you're doing. Have a great evening. Stay safe, and I will be back here tomorrow just before the market opens. So have a great evening, and I will catch up with you all this time, 2:30ish tomorrow.